Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next exit interview. I am here with Nicole, who is our fifth member of the jury, and we're going to just dive right into this interview. So, Nicole, tell us about your experience out there.
Honestly, my experience out there was life changing. My entire life, I've spent doing for everyone else and trying to help everyone the best that I can. I've never known my own limits because I spend so much time trying to just make everybody else's life easier and better. So when I went out on the island, I had no idea how I was going to perform. I knew that this was a game that I've loved and watched on TV that everyone says is a lot harder in person. And let me tell you, it is. But it really changed my life. It showed me things about myself that I will never forget.
So, changing gears a little bit, we give y'all a lot of months, of course, to fundraise, but the actual pregame, we have to, send out the cast list because y'all are active on social media. So a big thing is pregame alliances.
Mhm.
And, as much as I hate pregame alliances, it has to be in the game. We can't do anything about it. So,
Yeah.
did you have any pregame alliances? And did it affect the game at all, or just touch a little bit on that?
I did not. I said in the beginning that I didn't want to make any prior to because I wanted this to be the most genuine experience I could make it. So I made none going in. I don't think that it hurt my game at all. I think that making it genuine really allowed me to, again, go outside my comfort zone and learn how to create those relationships with people. And I think it helped me in the end. So,
Um, let's think about before you actually got to your tribe. When I first me and Meredith, when we first put you on your tribe out there, when we first started rolling the cameras on the field, what did you think about your tribe that you were placed on? Were you happy with yours? Would you have chosen a different tribe based on first impressions?
um, I wouldn't have changed my tribe. I wouldn't have changed the experience. When I first saw who was on it, I was kind of excited, but kind of nervous. I obviously didn't know anything about any of these people. I was excited because Johnny was on there, and honestly, I couldn't have been happier. Uh, Even given the circumstances of things of that have happened, he's a really cool person, and you know, being in the game with someone who's played it before, you you would think I'd get it, we'd have an advantage, but not really. And but it did allow us to get some insight on how Survivor is on TV versus what it is in real life. And then when playing, I think we had a really round group for our strengths. We had some that were physically, some that knew puzzles, and some that just could really play a social game. And I really think that helped us overall. So I wouldn't change it.
Okay. So is there somebody that you wish was on your tribe that maybe could have helped you advance a little further?
I think that if Leah had been on my tribe, I think it would have been good. I really bond with her. I feel like, going into this, I didn't get to talk to her much. And obviously, being on different tribes, we didn't get to talk much, but I really feel like having her on our tribe may have helped.
Okay. So let's talk about the challenge. How was it getting to, compete in a challenge that Sandra hosted?
That was awesome. Of all the people that I could have met from watching it on TV, that was beyond anything I'd ever thought. Sandra was truly a Survivor fan, and she plays it, but she plays it so well in her life as well. She knows how to read people, she knows how to talk to people, and she's very honest, and I love it. I love every bit of that. And just being able to compete in something led by her was even more awesome.
Yes. So when you saw the challenge and did you watch the first season, right, of our Survivor? So you were familiar with this challenge. This is the challenge Sandra won, as we know from the episodes. Um, what were your thoughts going into this challenge and how the challenge kind of shaped out?
Um, Going into the challenge, I knew in my heart, I knew I needed to win. Um, I knew that I needed to give it all I got, but I was scared. Um, as a kid, I had trouble with dyslexia. So anything to do with a challenge on word or numbers has always scared me just because I don't want to mess up because I didn't pay attention or use what I've learned to grow and get stronger through. And so sitting there doing this challenge was very scary, but it was really awesome to know that I actually did pretty well. So,
Yeah. So let's talk about tribal council. Now, did you get a chance to watch this episode yet?
not yet.
Okay. So there's a part in this episode, it's a confessional from Crystal, and
Mhm.
she was talking about how she was very surprised that Derek or you or Josh didn't come to her to try and flip the vote and try and get, Leah out. What was your thought process leading up into tribal council in terms of who to go home?
So I actually was hoping that Derek would use his advantage a little differently. I thought that, he did use it to an extent of asking a question, but I feel like if he'd asked the other question, it would have worked way better in our favor. Obviously, stealing my vote and me not having anything is nothing I could have prevented without the him asking the question, "Did you have something?" like that. But and we can't change any of it. But I really went in thinking that if we use it right, we can flip this game. And as long as we can, trust in him to use it right, then I'll be going back to the island. And that just goes to Survivor. You don't know what decisions are going to get made. You don't know who you can trust, and you don't know how it's going to pan out until a name is written down on that paper. So,
Yeah. And, and my thought process from a production side, like at Angela's vote out at Final Seven, I thought that maybe instead of, Derek going to a side, that maybe both tribes came together to vote Derek out. And then Final Six, y'all just duke it out, tie the vote, go to Rocks, and see what could happen. Obviously,
right.
it didn't shape out like that. But let's talk about your elimination and what was going through your head at Tribal Council.
So going through my head, I mean, first, I do wish I had reached out to Crystal. I really do. I didn't necessarily have the best judgment of how strong those two were together, and I just really I should have been more on my game with that. But honestly, I do wish I'd have went back and talked to Crystal and Leah a little more and just gotten to know maybe more, see if there were any chances of switching stuff up. But going into tribal, I was scared. Again, my stomach was in knots. I had nothing on me to protect myself. Josh was obviously safe, and out of the two, I was glad that at least one was staying. But at the end of the day, I knew I was in trouble, and I knew that if this didn't play well, I was going home. So
Okay. So, obviously not counting this episode since you haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but the episodes that you have watched, was there anything that surprised you in terms of like confessionals or just anything that you didn't notice while you were out there?
nothing's well, things always surprise me just actually seeing what everyone was saying. But honestly, out of the confessionals, my favorite part was knowing that me, Angela, and Josh were on the same page, even in our privacy. We'd
Yeah.
known each other and not even an hour when we started this. And he was, last minute thrown in. Angela had a lot going for her coming into the game that no one knew about yet, but she had it. And I had nothing. But we knew we wanted to work together. So I was always wondering, on the inside, I know we all want to say that we're together, but are we? So hearing their confessionals and knowing that it wasn't just one person, that we all actually created a bond together was really awesome.
Yeah. So, do you have any regrets or anything you wish you would have done?
Yeah, I mean, I for one wish I'd have gotten some advantages and just raised more. Um, and I should have been more competitive with that. I know I tried to come up with some ideas, but some of these guys make it as far as raising fundraising, they did some really cool ideas, and I should have just been more out of the box with it and tried to fundraise more so I could have went in with some type of protection. So I do regret that, but I don't regret my game. I don't regret the people I've met. I do wish I performed better physically, but I gave it my all. I truly did. I mean, laying on the sand that, by the fire and being sunburnt and freezing cold and listening to Angela wake up out of the middle of nowhere just screaming misery was one of, I mean, it wasn't fun at the moment, but it is something I would never trade ever.
Good. So, do you have any last thoughts as we round out this interview?
You know, if there's anyone that ever dreams of doing stuff like this, I would tell them to always, always go for it. And I don't mean that to be cliche. I mean it for real because I do want to play the real survivor. I want to go out there. I want to compete. And watching it over the past years, seeing each season pass, saying that to myself has a different meaning now because I know that I could do it. I can't, I won't say that I know I could win, but I know I could do it. And I'd give every bit of it out there. So if there's anyone ever questioning themselves or just saying I'm too slow, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm just not physically there, I'm not meant, I don't know how to do puzzles. Listen, I didn't know how to do half them puzzles, and we won one of our challenges on the slide puzzle.
Mhm.
I've never kayaked my entire life, and we did it against the water in
Mhm.
the burning sun. I mean, there's so many things out there I didn't think I'd do, and I did it, and I had a blast. So, last thoughts for anyone is just go out there, do it, and give it your all, and you'll have fun whether you win or lose. So,
Beautifully said. And thank you so much for playing and thank you for applying. You're one of the two people, Victoria, to apply and get cast. So you are amazing. And I just love, you're probably my favorite story that's come out of this season in terms of how much it changed you and, all the experiences you got to do. It makes me feel good and all of us, that we, just had a blast out there. So thank you. And thank you for playing. Um, and also, you got to experience camp, which is what this is all about.
yeah,
Even though you were only there for a short time, I know you had a blast, I'm sure. So, thank you again for coming to that.
of course.
So you are our fifth jury member. We have two more members of the jury to welcome. We have one more episode and then we have the finale. So stay tuned. I might not see Nicole. I just looked at the poll, but you'll see a lot of us at the reunion Zoom call soon. And thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you next week.